Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well, and it's time for our weekly track roundup where I go over what I felt were the best and worst tracks of the week, compile them all into one video, give some short opinions on them, link them all down there in the description box so you guys can go check them out for yourselves and sort of see what's up. And yeah, that's basically the gist of it. We do one every week. If you're subscribed to the channel, you should know by now. All right, you guys already know what's up. Let's go into a few things that I have to mention. Of course, this October, I'm going on tour, speaking engagement tour. It's going to be funny. It's going to be serious. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be off the wall. I've done lots of these things before. We always have a good time. It's always crazy to sort of meet you guys in person and see you guys who are all like, crazy obsessed about music all in one enclosed space. That sounded creepy. Of course, I'm going to be doing Q&A after and meeting people and that sort of thing as well. We're doing East Coast and West Coast. In the U.S., we have Massachusetts and Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. Check out all the dates. They're all down there linked on our support page in the description. So get tickets ahead of time because they are cheaper. And, obviously, if you get a ticket now, you're reserving your spot just in case, these things fill up. We also have our Amazon Associates link down there in the description box. If you live in the US and you click on that, it just brings you to the homepage on Amazon. And once you buy something after you click the link, we get kickback from it. Does not add to your overall price, helps the channel, helps the segment. And also we have a similar thing going on with the good people over at Turntable Lab, a fantastic website and store where you can buy, some freaking, oh wait, I have to get rid of this Taylor Swift picture. And I have to get rid of this pup picture too. On the Turntable Lab site, you can get colorful pressings of records that I have reviewed on the YouTube channel, as well as, gear, speakers, turntable stuff for the budding record collector and audiophile in your life. Maybe it's also you. So, spoil yourself, treat yourself, and, help the channel at the same time as well. All right, let's get into the worst tracks of the week. Woo, woo, woo. It's funny that I just got rid of that picture of Taylor Swift's album because I was talking about it last week. But of course, we're talking about it again because Taylor Swift just dropped a new track. I was going to record this video earlier, but good thing I didn't because if I did, I wouldn't have listened to this track yet. And Taylor Swift, new song, Ready for It, easily the worst track I've heard this week. This song is hot garbage, and this song is exactly what I predicted weeks ago on social media and maybe even on my YouTube channel too. And that is that Taylor Swift goes trap on this new song. This track has a lumbering, heavy, bombastic trap beat. It kind of has this weird distorted bass line at the start of it that reminded me of like Yeezus. I'm like, okay, is she really trying to be like Kanye right now? This sounds like something off of Yeezus. What the hell? And then once the beat pops in, you get the rattling trap hi-hats. Taylor Swift starts, talk singing and this really sort of like there's kind of a very snobbish sort of tone to her delivery. It's pretty gross, very unlikable, and I don't know, it seems like a bunch of top 40 cliches just bottled into one single song. There's literally nothing special or memorable about it. It seems like a Frankenstein monster of some of the most formulaic songs I've heard over the past couple of years. I mean, as I guess as underwhelming as her last single was, like at least there was a coherent hook to it. At least there was kind of a song structure that made sense and was enjoyable about it. Can't really say that about this new song at all. And the next song I want to mention in this segment is the brand new track from Tegan and Sara and Matthew Dear. Unfortunately, this new one over here, titled Bad Ones, is, I don't know. It's kind of like everything that I haven't enjoyed about Tegan and Sara's recent output, but just kind of topped with a somewhat better instrumental. I really don't know. I don't know what Matthew Dear has to gain out of this collaboration, honestly. Like, it's not the dark, sexy, sleek, funky production and songwriting that I've enjoyed and many of his fans have enjoyed from him in the past. Instead, we're kind of getting, I don't know, some mediocre MySpace pop. Meh. All right, let's move on to the tracks that I was kind of met on, tracks that I wanted to mention. Wasn't amazed by them, but I thought they were certainly worth shouting out, pointing some attention to. New Young Lean track. This new Young Lean track, surprisingly, of course it's Young Lean. I kind of had an initial reaction to it, it's a Young Lean track. I'm not gonna like it. It's titled Red Bottom Sky. But honestly, I think there are a lot of cool things about this track. I kind of like the weird electronic, very, information age aesthetic of the track. This song to me seems so internet age. It seems so internet music. And, I think the lead vocal melody on the hook is kind of nice. It's a decent ballad with a weird, new agey, very internet aesthetic. It's not a perfect song, and I do think it drags on after a while, but it's not a bad tune. It's not a bad track. The new Wolf Parade track is a Dan Beckner song. If I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, I'm probably not. It's very driving. It's very tense. It's got a pretty... I want to say amped hook to it. It's not one of my favorite songs he's written for the band, but it certainly continues down this path that the band's recent output has been, that they're kind of getting their energy back, they're getting back in their groove, they're getting their mojo back, and I don't know, the recent material has been pretty exciting, pretty exciting in my opinion. Along with the new national material as well, this new national track titled Day I Die, it's definitely one of the more engaging ballads that I've heard so far in this recent crop of tracks. I actually think this new album of theirs is shaping up to be their most interesting since Boxer. After the second chorus, the song does kind of drag on a little bit. The band doesn't offer much more in the way of excitement or variation past that point, but I still think it's a pretty decent ballad. I want to give a shout out to the good people over at Kero Bonito, who have a new Oasis cover out for the song Rock and Roll Star. It's not bad, not the best production I've heard on their work as of yet, and I don't know if, their style completely, transitions into this songwriting style, but it's actually not a bad cover at all. Not a bad cover. John Mouse has a new project on the way, and this new song that I'm talking about here from it is titled The Combine. I think the vocals leave a little bit to be desired on this one, but if we're talking merely from an instrumental standpoint on this thing, it's a cool mini little synth opus. Some of the harmonies and chord progressions on this track are actually pretty beautiful, and the way that the song is structured is kind of epic at points as well. Definitely not the super post-punky, dark and weird, I don't know, dark wavy, synthy, it's so difficult to sort of pin down Mouse's music because there's so many styles that are flowing through it, and it's not entirely one thing. And I would say that's even the case on this new track over here. But if you've heard his work in the past, it's not like that. Obviously there are aesthetic similarities here. It's somewhat lo-fi. There's kind of a retro futurist sort of quality to the production and just the sound of the analog synthesizers on this track. But what he's doing here just seems much more instrumentally driven, very epic, very grand, almost as if it's inspired by classical music a little bit. So give it a shot. It's a good track. Also want to shout out this new Father John Misty remix over here by the Haxan Cloak. I think the start of it is a little underwhelming, but the intensity of the editing and the music video combined with the, kind of heavy, droney latter half of the remix of this song, things that would have been helpful to know before the revolution, is actually pretty powerful. So give this remix a shot. Want to shout out this new track from the Cool Kids. It's not my favorite single that I've heard from this new crop of tracks off of their forthcoming record, Special Edition Grandmaster Deluxe. It's titled 9:15 p.m. I think, the verses on it are cool. The beat has kind of a somewhat vintage yet modernized West Coast smooth kind of groove to it. I don't know. It's a track that does not feel like it's as quirky or as much of a banger as the recent crop of singles, but it's definitely a track that could grow on me as I listen to the record more, sort of anticipating a bit of a slow burner kind of situation here. Let's talk about the tracks that I felt were the best of the week. First, I got to give a shout out to the project by Muy Drugs, which is a new project featuring Denmark Vesey. And I don't want to mess up this individual's name, so I will get this correctly. It is a new hip-hop project featuring Denmark Vesey, Detroit rapper and producer, as well as Azarius, who is also a producer. And together they come together, I'm saying together they come together. They come together with Yasiin Bey, a.k.a. Most Def, on this new track over here. And it's titled By My App. And it's actually like a really cool, hard-hitting, very textured, industrial hip hop banger with like, I don't know, like a drum circle kind of quality to the groove and the percussion in the instrumental. Like there's so much going on, and the vocal performances on this track are so amped. They're so energetic. It's kind of hard not to get excited about what they're doing here. And yeah, they have a new project coming on the way very soon. Hit the link down there in the description. You can see the premiere that we did for this track over on the website. Next, I got to give a shout out to this new Zola Jesus track. This new song is titled Siphon, and it's very unlike a lot of the recent singles that have dropped for this forthcoming album she has dropping very soon. It has kind of a, I don't know, it's almost a little too straightforward, or at least more straightforward than we would expect Zola's usual ballads to be. And there's kind of this uplifting, almost hopeful kind of quality to the song as well that I thought was like a nice change of pace. And it turns out that the song is like in tribute to a friend of hers who tried to commit suicide. And with that in mind, when you read into some of the lyrics, you know, especially like the very dark mantra around like the middle point in the second half about like, you know, not letting this person bleed out, it's pretty sick, it's pretty intense. And but yet also, again, hopeful and beautiful and eerie. You know, the emotions of this track, they're all over the place. Obviously, you're dealing with the darkness of this person kind of being in a state of mind where they want to end their life. But also, there's kind of a note of positivity there where it's almost like she's trying to be supportive, be inspiring, be there to help motivate this person to go on. Again, it's a mixed bag of emotions. I think that kind of makes it unique. And, you know, obviously the balladry of the song is very beautiful. I don't know, man. I feel like this song is yet to kind of fully reveal itself to me. All I know so far is that I think it sounds really good. And, you know, it's one of the more unique singles that I've heard from her ever, but certainly one of the most unique singles from this new album cycle that she has going. I want to give a shout out to The World is a Beautiful Place that have a new track out titled Tigers. What is it? Marine Tigers. And definitely not as punchy and as pop-punky and as straightforward and as simple as the last single they dropped from this album, which, I don't know, kind of let a lot of people down for whatever reason. I thought the track was good. I thought the track was exciting. I thought it was a cool change of pace. However, this new song over here goes back to their grand, epic, post-rock, infused emo kind of aesthetic. And honestly, I like it a lot. You know, it's certainly more subtle and nuanced than a lot of the instrumentation from their past couple of records. And structurally, the song is very immense. It's very powerful. And I don't know, man. I like the vocals on the track as well. So give this track a listen. It's very epic. It's very, I want to say, I don't know, it has a nice ascension to it. I want to give a shout out to this new track, Toe to Toes, which is off of a forthcoming Mastodon EP. It's just 4 tracks, but honestly, like, I like this new song quite a bit. Like, this new track, to me, beats out pretty much every song from the new album, and yet there are elements from the last album on this. You know, some of those hard rock elements, some of those more traditional and straightforward and more melodic metal elements, and sort of alt metal elements, I think, show up in this track, but Mastodon finds a way to fuse them with some heavier, harder, more Mastodon-ish passages. It does make the song feel like it's a little all over the place because it seems like Mastodon are constantly shifting and evolving and changing the vibe and the sound of the track numerous times. But somehow it really comes together. And those moments, those really short, catchy moments in the track that the band hits you with, they really leave a huge impact and they really stuck with me. Even after a few listens, you know, there are some moments of this song that they're so short, but the band manages to pull off something so catchy in that short amount of time before they sort of just drift off into something else, or actually really hard transition into something else. And I don't know, man, I'm just kind of hoping the band comes back around again. This isn't the first time the band has put out a record I thought was just okay or super mediocre, and then all of a sudden they rubber band back into a direction that I enjoy much more. So, even though I was underwhelmed by the last record, I'm not counting Mastodon out by any means, because lo and behold, they can drop a track like this. So yeah, I'm enjoying this cut quite a bit, as well as this new Ibeyi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is the first time I'm really kind of covering this duo. This new song titled Deathless, featuring Kamasi Washington. And what can I say about this? I love the lurching, very patient, amazing drumming and percussion on this track. The lead vocals are super soulful, as well as, just kind of catchy, passionate. The group vocals on the track make the song. They're so huge, they're so powerful. And Kamasi Washington's saxophones on this track sound amazing as well. I've heard this duo's material before. I sort of saw the hype, but I wasn't crazy about it myself. But I'm really seeing it on this new track over here. Like, this new song is pretty much fucking amazing. Like, it's a powerful track. And very forward thinking, very amazing organic instrumentation. And again, the group vocals and the saxophones are awesome. Like, they're an amazing sound, and they make the song so much. Moving on from there, got to give a shout out to the new Death From Above track and single, Holy Books. This is Death From Above kind of playing to their strengths. You got those driving drums, you got the sharp lead vocals, you got the massive, distorted, heavy, driving bass riffs, and it's hard hitting. And then there's a nice kind of refined piano bridge that's very illustrious. It's a very nice change of pace, isn't quite as aggressive as the rest of the track, and shows that the band has some nice dynamics. Didn't feel like the band was completely just throwing the baby out with the bathwater with the very funky, groovy, poppy track they dropped not too long ago. This feels to me like Death From Above, usual thing, but kind of enhanced a little bit. I'm not anticipating that the next record is going to be amazing or anything like that. Could very much be a mixed bag like their comeback album. But still, it seems like they are not giving up. They are continuing forward, and with more music, with more time to write, with more time to practice, with more time to play, the potential for better ideas to come forward is most certainly there, and it seems that is in fact the case with this new track over here. And want to give a shout out also to the new Kurt Vile and Courtney Barnett, or Courtney Barnett and Kurt Vile track, which is titled Over Everything. They have a new collaborative record coming out this year. Given that I wasn't really big on Courtney's breakout record and Kurt's last record, I wasn't sitting here thinking oh, this is a collaborative album I have to hear. But honestly, this new track they've dropped, I don't know what it is, man. Kurt and Courtney, they have chemistry, man. There's something very playful and kind of flirty and kind of silly and tongue-in-cheek and outright funny, subtly funny, kind of low-key funny, but still funny. Funny about this new track over here. And I'm hoping that, they can kind of keep this energy going on this new album of theirs, because I don't know, man, they just work really well together, and I feel like their styles complement one another. So, again, while separately I haven't been crazy about their recent work, this to me was fireworks, again, in a subtle fashion, but still. And next, I got to give a shout out to this new Classixx track over here, which is a very bubbly, fun, one-off track that has some very rich pianos, awesome house beats, some amazing choir vocal samples. It's a really great dance track. Hopefully, the band's next record is, or the duo's next record rather, is a little bit more exciting than their last. And Ariel Pink, I have to shout out as well, has a new track out from his forthcoming project, Another Weekend. This one titled Ode to the Goat, Thank You. This track is, how to describe it? I don't know. It kind of feels like he's going back to his super quirky, super odd songwriting and production style, to the point where he's almost bordering on novelty music, and not in a bad way. This song is very, very schmaltzy, very, very silly, but still, of course, showcases Ariel's attention to detail with production, with instrumentation, his funny, lyrical point of view, his vibrant and eccentric personality. So definitely give this track a shot. It's one of my favorite singles so far from this forthcoming album, and I'm really excited to review this LP. And I have to give a shout out finally to Alex Cameron, who has another track out from his forthcoming album, Runnin' Outta Luck. And if you remember, recently he had a sort of duet track out with Angel Olsen that I thought was amazing. And, thought that originally this song is good, but maybe this is just kind of a bit of a fluke. Maybe this is a bit of a one-off thing. Maybe I won't be that crazy about his forthcoming material. And I was kind of ready. I was in that mindset when I heard this new track over here. Like, when it initially hit me, I was like, oh, this just kind of sounds like some plain-ass, like, 80s rock pop revivalism or whatever. And, certainly it is that in a sense. But as I listened to it more and more, and I was kind of taking in the songwriting and taking in, some of the interesting imagery coming up in his lyrics, like about, Knuckles being bloody because he has like money in the trunk. Once I was kind of reading into some of the lyrics and I was kind of catching the melodies and the awesome hook on this thing, I was like, okay, there's something like there's something to this, It reminded me a lot of some of the powerful and awesomely catchy and sharp songwriting that was like on a Brandon Flowers debut album. If any of you sort of paid attention to that or followed that. And I don't know, I just really liked it a lot. I'm kind of excited to hear not only him, but just kind of more Australian singer-songwriters like coming out and fucking killing it. And yeah, that's it, guys. Those are all the songs that I wanted to mention in this video. Again, they're all linked down there in the description box. Make sure to check out especially the tracks that I recommended to you guys, but also the tour link, because we have those tour dates coming up, the Amazon Associates link, the Turntable Lab link as well. But again, especially the tour, especially the tickets. And that's it, guys. Hope you got some good recommendations out of this video. Anthony Fantano, sorry for the moments where I kind of stumbled and was completely unable to talk, but it's just it's late right now, and that means that this installment of the best and worst tracks of the week is going to be extra lit. Okay, it's going to be extra lit. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. You're the best. Bye. Forever.